Yeah, look, I think it was great, obviously, to get a win against Portland State on Thursday night, and really thrilled with that. Great crowd, good to have the band in the building. You know, the atmosphere we have in Schroyer is unrivaled in the Big Sky, that's for sure. So really pleased for the team, pleased with the effort we put out there, executed a good game plan. I think we had some lapses in moments, the team will readily admit that. The conversations we had with the team on Friday morning, a lot of people were like, yeah, we played well, but we can play a lot better, we know we can. So that's always the encouraging conversation as a coach when you have those comments coming from your leading athletes. You know, I think offensively we had some really big production out of our outsides with Evie, Hannah, and Natalie all producing over 200, hitting over 200. And then obviously Kelsey led with hitting 333. At one point she was unstoppable. I think she was hitting 1,000 at the end of the first set or somewhere thereabouts. So that was a really pleasing way to start the Big Sky Conference slate. You know, I think I know we did a lot of things in that match we haven't done before. Beat Portland State for the first time in 14 years. Opened Big Sky Conference with a win for the first time in 5 years-ish. You know, and you know, Rizzo was 4 off. She was a career high digs in that match and 4 off breaking the all-time record. She just continues to produce and produce and produce as a libero, so we couldn't be more happy in those things. I think flipping it over to Saturday, you know, tough outing, really tough outing. You know, we've reflected on it a lot as a staff, and we'll reflect on it as a team as we hit the road here in an hour or so. But you know, Sac State won the Big Sky last year. They're a very good volleyball team. We know that. We feel like we're a really good matchup with them. So to not be able to execute to the level that we wanted to was the frustrating part. I think we showed in the first set what we can do against them and the way we can make them uncomfortable. They're just a very good volleyball team, though, and we knew going into it that we'd get into long rallies with them and would have some situations where we're going to have to be resilient. And you know, being a young team, that's an area we can grow in, and that was reflected on Saturday. So a little frustrated coming out of Saturday, but you know, excited to have another opportunity to get on the court tomorrow night now. So yeah, it's a good deal.
Coach, a month of traveling. How did it feel to be back at home in Schroyer?
Yeah, it was awesome. It couldn't be. I can't understate what our home court brings for us, the advantage it brings for us, but also the comfort of being, you know, in Bozeman, in our own beds, with our friends and family, and you know, having the support of our home crowd. It's unrivaled in the Big Sky. That's for certain. And you know, it was a fantastic experience to open up on Thursday night with 1,100 plus people and get a win as well. It was great.
So you snapped the 22 game losing streak against Portland State. Did you even know that?
I didn't. You know, they're kind of things that Tom does a really good job of feeding me after the match, and I'm grateful for that, because I think if you know those things going in, sometimes, you know, they build a little bit more than. I mean, the reality is we need to go out and focus on the individual tasks that we have to execute our game plan. And if we're thinking about a 22 match, you know, losing streak or a winning streak or whatever it may be, you tend to lose focus on the individual elements that you need to be focused on. So, you know, it's fun to reflect on. The team enjoyed hearing that after the match when we were stretching, and you know, we shared that information with them. They were excited to hear it. But you know, we know that Portland State is a very good volleyball team, and to get a win over them on our home court is great. And the thing we really like about the rejigged conference schedule for us is we get to play Portland State and Sac State twice this year, which we haven't done before in my time here. And so to have an opportunity to have another bite at the apple with them both, we're excited. Go out and get them again. So it's good.
Can you talk about the setters against your setters against Portland State?
Yeah, you know, I think they did a good job against Portland State. We needed a little switch of intensity coming in there, so we went to Karina. I think it was late in the third set, and she just brought a fire in her belly. She hasn't been able to play for a few weeks, and brought a fire in her belly and really took control and brought just an aggression that I think Ali was just lacking in those moments. I think Ali's been doing a fabulous job for us, and she'll continue to do a fabulous job for us. And just seeing her go out and perform the way she did in front of her home crowd, I couldn't be more thrilled for her. And there's going to be plenty more opportunities for her. And you know, she saw that again on Saturday night when she got in against Sac State. So, we're trying to find a settle there. I mean, Karina literally hasn't touched a volleyball with the other 6 on the court for 2 weeks. So to throw her in and just let her fly on Thursday was a great thing because she didn't have to think about it. I think on Saturday, that kind of showed the lack of connection in some ways because she hasn't been with the team for so long, just being on the sidelines. And so we went back to Ali on Saturday, and she did a really good job when she had an opportunity. So I want to find a settled rotation there. We're going to find it eventually. The nice part for us is this is end of week 1 going into week 2 now, and we've got another 9 weeks to go, or 8 weeks to go now. So we'll find our rotations and find our settled lineup, and I've got no fears about that.
What was your message to the girls about opening conference play? I mean, obviously conference play is a little bit more important than non-conference.
Yeah.
But I mean, what is y'all's mindset going into it?
We break the season up into different sections, and our non-conference section was really about finding our capabilities as a group, seeing the depth of the squad. And we really feel as though we achieved that non-conference schedule. Going into conference schedule, you can say these games matter more, they matter the same amount, you can say what you want. The reality is we go out and play an opponent anytime we play somebody, we want to win. And so it's not that we're putting extra weight on it. And this early part of our conference schedule, we're really learning about our opponents as well. And the fun part is, like I mentioned earlier, we get to challenge everyone twice this year, as opposed to last year where it was half the conference twice, half the conference once. With the exception of Weber State and Idaho State, who we play once at the last weekend. So, we're like I said, we're figuring our identity out a little bit, but as opposed to non-conference and conference, it's pretty similar stuff. The fun part for us as a coaching staff is we know our conference opponents a whole lot better. We know what Sac State's blocking scheme is. We know what Portland State's offensive scheme is. So as we head over to Missoula tonight to play UM tomorrow, we know what their DNA as a program is, and it's just up for us to really figure it out and execute. So.
What can you take away from the last 2 games that you can apply to Grizz? Because obviously, does this game hold bigger weight? Or
you always like to say it doesn't, but it does. Yeah. I've been involved in a lot of big rivalry matches. Coming from the University of Utah, playing BYU down there is, they call it the Holy War, and it was always there was more on that match whether you wanted it to be or not. And in my 4 years here now, my 4 seasons here, you can say it's another match, but the reality is a Cat Grizz contest, Brawl of the Wild it's a brawl. It doesn't matter what your record is going in. It doesn't matter what your health situation going in. It's a brawl. And we've talked about it a little bit as a program. We referenced it on Saturday night after the Sac State game. It's a quick turnaround for us. We don't typically play on a Tuesday. So we referenced it, just the need to be preparing yesterday for tomorrow because the preparation cycle is pushed up. In terms of what we can take away, we need to settle down. We need to do our jobs. I think at the end of the second set against Portland State, that was the message. We won the first set. Everyone was feeling good about it. They jumped on us in the second set. And everyone started to try and overcompensate, try to do a little bit more than what they needed to do. And in volleyball, as soon as you start doing that, your systems break down. I think it's the same in most sports. And so that was the message coming out of the break and going to the third set. And we were able to do that a little bit better against Portland State. And we did it better again in the 4th and 5th set, obviously taking those. And it was the same story again on Saturday night, just against Sac State. We jumped on them in the first set, we got that. Second set, they jumped on us and our systems broke down. And so we've got the lessons coming out of the last 2 matches, we just got to trust our training, trust our team, and trust the scouting report so that we can go out and execute what our jobs are rather than having to worry about trying to do too much. So, good question. You got me thinking. Yeah.
Anything else?
You guys are great. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.